Hi there, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. This is Mulch 101. What is mulch and what's the big deal about mulch? I want to talk about it today. Mulch is very beneficial and it has, I'm going to give you 7 benefits of mulch. First, mulch helps to retain moisture in the soil. When you water your garden, you don't want all your hard work to just evaporate away, and bare soil is very bad about that. So mulch, if you put down a layer of mulch, a good 2 inch thick is what I usually go for, a layer of mulch, then mulch helps to keep the moisture in the soil. Second, mulch suppresses weeds. This is the big thing that I have come to appreciate. If you've got thick mulch, 2 to 3 inches worth of mulch, you're going to suppress weed growth. The seeds that are in your soil, the seeds that are actually in your mulch sometimes, will be suppressed, and those weeds that do come through, well, they'll be growing in mulch. They'll be easy to pluck one by one. The third reason you should mulch is that it helps protect your plants from soil splash. Whenever you water your garden, the droplets of water are going to hit the bare soil and splash soil and dirt and all up on your plant, and that's where microorganisms live that are dangerous. That's where you can get diseases, soil-borne diseases. So you put down a layer of mulch and it forms a buffer, and you don't have that problem anymore. So the fourth reason you want to mulch is for temperature control. Daily and nightly rhythms, as the sun comes up and the sun sets, the sun bears down on your bare soil, it heats it up a lot, and as it goes down, well, it cools off again, and so you've got this wild fluctuation in temperatures is not healthy for your plants. If you put down a layer of mulch, that acts as an insulator, and you do have obviously you're going to get temperature fluctuation, but it's not going to be as radical. It's not going to shock your plants. The fifth reason you want to use mulch, especially in ornamental gardens, is for erosion control. Or if you have traditional rows that you build up, you build the rows up and you've got the trough in between. Erosion is managed by having mulch in place. My flower bed in the front is kind of it's built up. If I just left the soil bare, all that soil the first rain would wash it all flat, and I'd lose a lot of my dirt, a lot of my good soil there. So a good thick layer of mulch helps keep it in place. The sixth reason is you don't want your soil to crust over. Whenever soil crusts over, it forms a barrier. It's almost like a hard top. And if you try to water that, sometimes you'll even see the water pool up and run off, and it doesn't soak in. Mulch helps to keep soil from crusting over. And then this is the big one, number 7. Organic mulches improve the fertility of your soil by providing a powerful source of food for an ecosystem that lives there in the garden. So you want microorganisms such as bacteria, fungal life, tiny little mites that live in the soil mites. You want worms, earthworms, and all the various tiny bugs and pill bugs that break down organic material. And what they do is they work on the bottom of your mulch layer, and they eat the mulch and turn it into their waste, which is humus, and humus is the organic component of soil. So as they do this, they're adding micronutrients and nutrition, most excellent nutrition you can get for your garden. They're adding that into your soil, and they're drawing it down into your soil, making it available for your plants. It's really rich stuff. And so by using mulch, you are amending your soil just by doing nothing. The bugs and the worms, they're doing the amending for you. And so the question really is not should I mulch, it's what kind of mulch should I use. Okay, so there are 2 different categories of mulches. There's organic mulches on the one hand, and there's inorganic mulches on the other hand. So organic mulches would be your grass clippings, bark, wood chips, anything like that, pine leaves, anything that's naturally occurring in the environment is an organic mulch. Inorganic mulches can include gravel, stones, hardware cloth, black plastic, not hardware cloth, but black plastic, landscape fabrics. That's what I'm trying to think about. Shredded tires even. Some people even use carpet as mulch. And these things generally don't compose. Obviously, the rocks and the pebbles and gravel and even the rubber tires, for all practical purposes, don't decompose. But other things do actually decompose. Black plastic will sit in the sun, hardware cloth will sit in the sun, and over time these will break down. Even carpet, I've seen people, I actually tried to use the carpet padding, the foam carpet padding, to overwinter a garden so it wouldn't grow weeds. Well, what happened? The weeds grew right up through it, and that bed, I'm still finding little bits of carpet and foam in there. So you can use some of these things, but beware, they do break down, and rather than amending your soil when they break down, they just leave litter and trash in your soil. So I don't recommend inorganic mulch. What are some good organic mulches? What are the different kinds of things? Well, the one I like the most is free to me. It's grass clippings. If you have a lawn, you have a resource, especially if you live where I live in Zone 9. We have St. Augustine grass, a very hardy grass, and much more broadleaf than the grass I've seen at friends' houses up in the north. Some cautionary thoughts about grass, about using grass clippings for mulch. If you have grass with lots of weeds in it, and your grass is, your weeds are going to seed, like you got dandelions with the fluffy dandelion heads on them, or you've got various weeds that have gone, you see seed heads on them, don't use that in your garden. Just let that stay in the yard, or mow it up and set it aside, or compost it in a hot compost process that'll help kill off those seeds. But if you keep your lawn maintained and well trimmed, then you generally don't have a problem with seed heads. Use all your lawn. Put it in a big compost hoop outside in the backyard, and use it as you need. So what I do is I take my grass clippings, I dump them either on the ground or in one of my compost bins. And as the sun dries out the top layer, I'll use the top layer as mulch. And like I said, I like it dry. You shouldn't use fresh grass clippings in your garden, or if you do, use them sparingly and know what you're doing. You should at least let them dry a bit. Grass clippings are an excellent resource for the garden. Now, know that if you use grass clippings alone and you use it thick enough, grass clippings can mat up and form a mat, an impenetrable mat. And it will repel water, not let water get in. So it's often good to mix grass clippings with something else. I mix mine with leaves, and it works great. Another option for using for organic mulch is hay and straw. Now you might say, well, everywhere I look online on the Facebook groups and gardening forums and stuff, they say don't ever use hay. You're just adding seeds to your bed. Well, there are some hays that you can use, various hybrid hays that actually don't produce seeds, and one of those that I like to use is called coastal Bermuda hay, and it's a very it's Bermuda grass, but it doesn't go to seed. And so you can use that it's very good stuff actually, and I used it thickly last year, and it breaks down and amends into your soil and adds nutrients. Straw is the leftover stalks of various crops, various grain crops or various grass crops, and the straw is very good for your garden too. It breaks down very quickly and adds to your soil. Another source of good mulch is leaves. If you live in a place where you have lots of hardwood trees, they drop their leaves once a year, rake those things up and mow them into chunks and put them in bags and save them. Leaves are good stuff. My oak tree sheds its leaves once every spring, and so I get a whole bunch of oak leaves, which are very good for my soil, and I mix that with my grass. And so I mow them up. It comes pre-mixed with the grass clippings. I lay them out in my compost bin or on the ground, and I let the grass dry. Best mulch I've ever used. That stuff is wonderful. Suppresses weeds, and it's just super stuff. Go rake your neighbor's leaves in the fall. There's free mulch lying around all over whenever the leaves fall, and that's a good resource for you. Dry leaves are the best stuff for your mulch and for compost. Shredded hardwood mulch and wood chips. Now these are another source of debate among gardeners. Wood chips are very good stuff. Wood chips have some downsides though. Wood chips are very, very good mulch. I use wood chips, especially older composted bagged wood chips from the big box store. I use that in my ornamental gardens, and I use them in some of my potted plants. I know that stuff is safe. It's been treated. Here's the problem with wood chips. You can get on these wood chip websites where all the tree companies go around and they're grinding trees and they're doing tree work for the county, for the city, for your neighborhood, and they'll come and dump a ton of wood chips in your driveway. And that's free stuff. If you sign up, you get a big giant pile of wood chips. But the problem is you don't know what's in that wood. You don't know if there's termites in there. You don't know if there's poison ivy in there. You don't know what they've been grinding up and putting in there. You don't know how many weed seeds are in there. You just don't know. So I've avoided that simply for that reason. Now, I would take that stuff gladly and use it to make garden paths with. But as mulch in my garden, I don't. Well, there's a little bit about mulch and how and why we use mulch and different kinds of mulch. I hope that you've learned something. If you made it this far, thank you. I generally try to keep my videos shorter. This one was long and seemed like a lecture, but I'm really glad if you've made it this far that you stuck it out. Well, thanks for joining us on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. There's a little bit about mulch, all you need to know about mulch. We're glad you came by. Please subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment, and hit that bell if you want to be notified on future videos. We're really thankful that you came and joined us today. Take care.